What's going on, everyone? So, looks like the Los Angeles Lakers may be out on kind of the bigger marquee centers that are available out there on the market. Guys like Jakob Poeltl, and Nikola Vucevic, Walker Kessler, guys like that. Doesn't mean that the Lakers won't get a center, just means that they are a little reluctant based on this recent report, which we're going to talk about and give my opinions on it. And of course, I want to hear yours, so let me know down in the comments. But diving into it, so this is from Mark Stein. He says, yet league sources stressed over the weekend that the Lakers are not expected to join the hunt for either Nikola Vucevic or Toronto's Jakob Poeltl. While often suggested Lakers target, Walker Kessler of the Utah Jazz is believed to be as close to unavailable as it gets, with less than 10 days to go before the trade deadline on February 6th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Adding Vucevic would be very pricey for the Lakers beyond Chicago's desire to extract a first-round pick in return, absorbing the $21.5 million owed to Vucevic in 2025-2026 is daunting financially for a team that projects to have Davis and LeBron taking up 2/3 of next season's salary cap and has strained to stay below the second apron this offseason. Jakob Poeltl, meanwhile, is a similar case with $19.5 million salary looming in both the 2025-2026 and 2026-2027, which is a player option, and the Raptors believe to be seeking an even richer return than Chicago has sought for Vucevic. To part with the player, many teams believe that Toronto would prefer to keep Again, that they want to keep Jakob Poeltl. We'll touch on that here more in a moment. As Stein noted, the financial implications play a role as taking on that kind of money for the future seasons is something the Lakers would prefer not to do as well, but giving up a first-round pick and perhaps even more in the case of Poeltl, along with the players needed to match salaries, seems to be too much for the Lakers. So a couple things about this. One, something that I've talked about heavily is like you look at most of the targets that the Lakers have been targeting, right? Most of them are on expiring contracts or have flexibility. Right, so look at guys like a Bruce Brown, Alonzo Ball, right? Even like Malcolm Brogdon. Like these guys all have expiring contracts, expiring deals. Also, even a guy like a Day'Ron Sharpe is like really cheap, and he's probably not going to demand $20+ million. You look at a guy like a Jonas Valanciunas; he's owed $10 million next year, but then he has a team option the following year. So technically, he'd be an expiring contract that you could look to maybe package to move and make another trade next season, right? So there is some sense in that regard of like, now if you take on a $20 million center, then you're kind of in this position to where it's like, how do we continue to improve and adjust if we even can, right? Well, there's a couple things, right? One, the salary cap is going to increase. Two, LeBron James was willing to take a discount this past offseason. If the Lakers are in position or a piece away from being a contender, you don't think LeBron James would take the discount again to try to go push for another championship? I believe he would. So I don't think that that's really that big of a concern. Another big kind of caveat here is that we've gotten several reports from other sources that have all said Nikola Vucevic is probably the Lakers' number one target now, especially after Anthony Davis had done said what he had said about wanting to go get a center. And we know based on reports that the Lakers have gone target these guys. So a couple of things you have to keep in mind. One, you're always going to get conflicting reports, and sometimes it's purposeful, right? Like, Lakers inquired about Nikola Vucevic. They have him as a main target, but you don't want to come off. You want to come off as like, hey, I don't know if we're even really interested in it. You want to kind of play it cool. Like, we love this piece, but, the financial implications, you want a first on top of that. Like, it just, you're trying to sell this idea. And a lot of these reports, I talk about it all the time, right? I try to find the consensus because you get so, like, one guy says one thing and then another guy comes and says another thing, and his sources, are complete opposite of like what this report is. And it's like, okay, so then which one's accurate? So are the Lakers going after Nikola Vucevic? Did they actually inquire about Nikola Vucevic, or was that just talk? Was that just noise? Did Chicago put that report out because they wanted to drive up the price? And it's like, teams don't want him to go to the Lakers, right? Like, it's just, you don't know, right? All the chaos, all the fluff. Great example, recently. Lakers were not going to make any moves. Lakers were going to stand pat. They were going to do all this stuff. And then, like, Dorian Finney-Smith got announced, like, 2 hours later, right? When he looked like he was going there. Right? Like, patience, that's why I say patience is everything. Because we don't know what's really going on behind the scenes, right? Most of these reporters are getting their information from the telephone game. The janitor was taking out the trash and overheard Rob Pelinka say this, so then he told this person, and then that person told this person, and that person told this person that ultimately told Mark Stein. And you're hoping that information never got, like, misconstrued, got, mixed up, that he heard correctly. Like, there's just so many things. And then there's also just reports that get put out just intentionally. There's reports that get put out that are like, because it benefits these teams. Right? So I don't buy... So Walker Kessler, yes, I've always said, right? Like, Walker Kessler is one of those pieces that if we can get, great, but don't count on it. Don't hold your breath. The asking price, they don't really want to trade him. And if they are going to trade him, it's going to have to be for, like, an insane turnaround. You're going to have to give a Bull first, Dalton Connect, and then some probably, right? So that's probably a bit unrealistic. Now, Jakob Poeltl, okay, I can see that being a little bit unrealistic because, once again, talking about a team that doesn't really want to trade their center. They're not against it. They prefer not to. It's kind of one of those things like, hey, make me an offer. If I like the offer, I'll take it. So you'd probably have to give up both first for Jakob Poeltl and then some again. So is that worth it for the Lakers? Right now, if you could get like a Bruce Brown and a Jakob Poeltl and like an Abaji, and you gave up 2 firsts and, like a pick swap or something, then yeah, because now you got a guard, you got a 3-and-D wing, and you got a defensive center, right? Sure, now I think you could justify it. Now I think you could make the argument. But Jakob Poeltl's a guy that is just, he's one of those guys. Same thing with like a Miles Turner, right? We don't know if he's actually available. So far, Indiana hasn't actually made him available. There's kind of murmurs and whispers that he may end up becoming available between now and the trade deadline, but that's not guaranteed. Again, like I have said from the beginning, the only centers that I think it's 3. I think it comes down to 3 centers. I think it's Nikola Vucevic, I think it's Jonas Valanciunas, and I think it's Day'Ron Sharpe. Right? I think either the Lakers go and get a Day'Ron Sharpe and then like a 3-and-D wing or guard, or they go get Jonas Valanciunas and then 3-and-D guard. And I've always maintained, I still think it's going to be Jonas Valanciunas in the end. Because I think you'll probably be able to get him, once you get to the trade deadline, you'll probably be able to get him for a second, and you'll be able to grab him, and then you're going to be able to go and make other trades and go get, a Bruce Brown or whatever. I still think Bruce Brown and Jonas Valanciunas are probably the most likely guys. I think they're probably the most likely candidates. Right? So now, obviously, again, if we can get a Nikola Vucevic, that'd be great. I love a Nikola Vucevic, right? I've come around more and more to the idea. I would like more than just Vu, right? I would like, could we get a Vu and like an Io or, Torrey Craig or, supposedly Chicago has their entire roster available except for the rookie, right? So could you maybe pull something off where you get a couple pieces? But point is that like if it makes sense. Like, I don't look at this article as like, that means Lakers aren't going to get a center. That's it. Back it up. I look at it as like, no, like 2 of the 3 centers listed in the article are 2 guys that you're not going to be probably or most likely not going to be able to get regardless. And Walker Kessler and Jakob Poeltl. Okay, so then what does that mean? It defaults back to the same centers that have been available, that have been linked to the Lakers this entire time. The question is, would the Lakers pony up for Nikola Vucevic? If they want a first, no. I wouldn't give up a first for Nikola Vucevic. Honestly, I'd rather at that point just go get Jonas Valanciunas. Right? Like, because you can get him for a second, and he's going to give you a lot of the same stuff. I don't think he's as good as Vu, but I don't think that they're, like, the $10 million and the first, I don't think is that gap, right? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. You never know until they actually start playing. But I think Jonas Valanciunas would be fine in that role. Or again, go get a Day'Ron Sharpe and then go get 2 or 3 pieces. Right? I would rather use my first to go allocate those elsewhere and get other needs. Right? And then just do like a Gabe Vincent for a Jonas Valanciunas, or turn a Jalen Hood-Schifino in a second into a Day'Ron Sharpe and There you go, right? Now you got your center, you got your backup center, and he's 23 and he can grow and develop and be a piece for now in the future. And then now you still have Rui and everything else to now go make a move for, a Bruce Brown and an Abaji or whatever, or, just a Bruce Brown, or now maybe you're going to Chicago not for Vucevic, but for several pieces. Maybe you're trying to go get an Io and, a Torrey Craig and, or Chris Dort, right? Like, and boom, you got those three guys to add in to, you got options, right? Like, patience is everything. I don't think that this is like the crazy, like, oh, that's it. That's it. Lakers aren't getting a center. No, I just think two of the three centers were probably a very unlikely and a long shot anyway. And then the other center is Nikola Vucevic, which has always kind of been 50-50. The only reason I lean more towards the Lakers more likely getting him now more than ever is because of what Anthony Davis said. If Anthony Davis' comments never happened, I still probably would be like, But I think with Anthony Davis and what he said, I think it puts the pressure. I think the Lakers might end up doing it. Not for a first, though. They can get him for a couple seconds, which I think that, if they could get him for 2 seconds, or even just like a pick swap or something, then sure. Or if you can get an IO, like I mentioned, then sure. Go do that. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel with your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Kind of mixed in the middle? However you feel, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. If you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.